In exactly 2 years, the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins. Dímelo, mi gente. This is Travel Football Fan. I am on a mission to help you save money and learn how to travel the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This is going to be the largest tournament in FIFA's history. We have 48 teams competing across 16 cities in 3 countries. O sea, the entire North American continent will be seeing soccer games. My name is Danny, and along with my wife Lori, we've been flying all around the world using travel points and miles. Notably, I've been flying to different soccer games all over the world. For the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, my wife and I flew from Washington, D.C. all the way to Dubai on Emirates business class. We stayed between Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha 15 days, and we got to just witness soccer in the Middle East, notably watching the Brazil South Korea round of 16 match. And you must be thinking, wow, that seems kind of expensive. How did you pull it off? Did you have $20,000 in the bank? No. Instead, we used a combination of travel points and miles to save us money on our flights and hotel stays. Instead of paying $12,000 for our business class seats, we used 290,000 travel miles and only paid about $900 in taxes for those two round trip business class seats. As for our hotels, remember I told you we spent 15 nights in the region. 11 of those nights were completely free because we had saved up hotel points for that trip. And for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, we're going to need every single trick in the book, saving money, learning how to navigate all these 3 countries and these 16 cities, and pick up as many travel points and miles as possible. So that way we can save ourselves thousands of dollars in travel costs for this World Cup. All right, so let's go ahead and review some basics of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We're going to start the tournament on June 11th, 2026 in Mexico City at the historic Estadio Azteca. And the tournament will finish on July 19th at MetLife Stadium in Newark, New Jersey. As mentioned earlier, there are 16 host cities for this tournament. Now, you're not expected to travel from LA all the way to Boston to follow your team. Instead, your team is going to be placed in a regional pod. So as you can see here on the map, the first one is the West Coast pod. That will be Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, and Vancouver. The next pod, the Mexico pod, Guadalajara, la Ciudad de Mexico, y Monterrey. The third one, the Great Plains pod, Houston, Dallas, Kansas City. The South pod, that will be Miami and Atlanta. Finally, the Northeast region pod, which will be Philadelphia, Newark, Toronto, and Boston. Now, the biggest question that's on everyone's mind is, of course, the tickets. When are they going on sale? Well, I've already created a separate YouTube video. I'll link that at the end of this video, in which I predict the actual dates. But, for the sake of simplicity, I think it's going to be next July or August 2025. Now, you're not going to be buying these World Cup tickets off of Ticketmaster or StubHub or Vivid Seats, any of those platforms. FIFA sells their tickets. You have to apply to be able to get tickets for the World Cup. And here's another tip for you regarding these tickets. If you do not have a passport of the country where you are a citizen of, whether that be the United States, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, England, donde sea, get one now, because more than likely, FIFA is going to ask all fans applying for tickets to put in their passport number so that they can verify a couple of things, including whether or not you've been part of a hooligan organization. Finally, regarding the FIFA World Cup draw, that will most likely happen on December of 2025. Now, no host city has been selected to host that event, pero Monterrey has been doing a very cool social media campaign to push to host that event. All right, so let's move on to how you can financially prepare for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Because being that it's going to be the biggest tournament in FIFA's history, that means it's also going to be the most expensive. So over here, I have 5 tips for you that you should start looking into and to do now, because you really only have a year before the World Cup tickets go on sale, and maybe about 14 months when you can start booking your travel for 2026. Okay, so number 1, open an HYSA account. What is an HYSA? a high yield savings account. Okay. This is a better savings account than your traditional savings accounts because it gives you more interest on the money you save. So the more you save, the more interest it will pay you. Of course, it's better if you let that money sit over a period of time because then, with the power of compound interest, you will have more money saved in the bank. But hey, you got to start somewhere. Number two, start a monthly budget. Okay. You got to know what you're spending your money on or not spending your money on. Okay. This is going to be, yes, maybe a little bit embarrassing. You're like, oh man, I'm spending too much on that takeout. Well, it's better that you know that information. So that way you can start making decisions like limiting your spending, or you're realizing, I need to make more money. I need to ask my boss for more money. Okay. Or I need to open up a side hustle and get some extra income coming in. So that's number two. And number three. Number four, if you have any sort of debt, credit card, student loan, auto debt, pay that off as fast as you can. I have $20,000 left of my student loans. I am aiming to pay that off by the end of this year. Why is that important? Because then once I get that debt off my back, I can refocus that money towards other projects like tickets for the 2026 World Cup. And then finally, if you do not have a travel rewards credit card or a cashback credit card, start looking into that. Maybe you don't have the credit score just yet. Start building your credit up. If you do have the credit score, start looking into which credit card works for you. Remember, there is no best credit card out there. It's just the one that works for your spending habits and, as I'll talk about in a minute, your travel habits. All right, now for some travel tips for you to start implementing today as well, because we need to get ready on that front. Okay, number one, going back to this topic of the travel rewards credit cards, really do take a look to see which one fits you. Okay, the Amex Platinum, more than likely for most of you, ain't the credit card for you. Okay, just because it's platinum doesn't mean it's the best. Again, there is no such thing as a best credit card. Start looking to see where you want to focus your travel on. Do you want to collect airline miles? Do you want to collect hotel points? Do you want to have special perks on during your flight, or do you want to get upgraded to a suite at the hotel? All of these things matter. What are your travel habits? Are you just okay flying on Spirit Airlines, but you want to have the biggest hotel room, or you want to fly in a very comfortable seat in the air, but then don't really care about the hotel room? You got to figure that out for yourself. And remember, I do provide consultations that will help you build a customized plan just for you. $25 for 30 minutes. You can check out that link to sign up for one of those consultations in my bio. All right, moving on. Start earning points or cash back from your everyday spend. I think a common misconception that happens with travel rewards credit cards, with cashback credit cards, is that you have to spend more to get those rewards. No, 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 no. The whole point of this earning travel points and miles or cash back is that you're taking advantage of your current spend, not spending more than what you can afford, and earn rewards back from that. Okay. Basically, the whole point is this: rather than you giving cash to the company, say Nike, right, or whichever one, and not getting anything back, or swiping your debit card and not getting anything back, you're swiping your credit card. You're going to pay that bill at the end of the month in full, and then you're getting at least 2% back, whether that be on points, whether that be cash back. Okay. Could be more too. Depends again on the credit card you pick. All right. Start earning points from the three portals. What am I talking about? I ain't talking about portals into outer space. I'm talking about the shopping portals. Okay. These are sites like Rakuten. These are sites like the Alaska Airlines shopping portal. There are sites where you can do your online shopping and earn extra points or extra miles from your everyday online shopping. So again, this just helps maximize the amount of points that you can earn. There's also dining portals. For example, Marriott's Eat Around Town. You go to specific restaurants that are on that website. You link a credit card to that account of yours, and every time you go to that restaurant, you earn points not only from the credit card that you're using, but also Marriott points because you signed up for that program. Okay. And then finally, opinion portals or survey portals. Okay. These companies, both hotel and airline, want your opinion. and they're willing to offer you points and miles to get that opinion. Now, before you sign up for all of those opinion portals, don't, because I got banned from doing that because I signed up for all of them. So, best tip, just sign up for the one that you want to focus on, and then you can earn your points and miles. And then finally, leverage your friends and family. The best way to save money from this World Cup is calling your abuela and asking her, hey, abuela, I want to sleep on your couch. Is that available? Do that, okay? That is going to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you just leverage your family and friend networks during this World Cup. Ahora, let's get this idea out of the way that you cannot start preparing your travels for the 2026 World Cup because your team is not in the World Cup yet, right? If you're a USA, Mexico, or Canada fan, you already know where they're playing on which day. You have the World Cup schedule already out for those three teams. Take full advantage of that information. Remember, Mexico is going to be playing two games at Azteca and one in Guadalajara, at least. The USA is at least playing two games in Los Angeles, one in Seattle. And Canada is playing at least one game in Toronto, two games in Vancouver. So you already have that information in hand. You can start planning your travels now. For the rest of us that don't have their teams in the World Cup just yet, that doesn't mean you can't start figuring out some travel strategies as to how to travel a specific region. So, for example, in the Northeast, right? Philadelphia, Newark, Toronto, Boston, you can use the Amtrak. Same thing between Vancouver and Seattle. They're connected by train. It's a very good opportunity there. Heck, even San Francisco, Los Angeles. It's a longer of a train ride, but if you want to see the countryside, it's a good option for you. You could stay in Mexico, right? Pero again, look at that schedule, and you're gonna see that you're not going to be able to go to as many games as you probably might want to. The region that does have the most games in close proximity is the Northeast, that Philadelphia, Newark, Boston region. Okay. And then, of course, you could just stay in Texas and then just hop on to Kansas City on and off, or you can stay between Atlanta and Miami if you want to have more of a party scene. Those two cities have a infamous, I don't know what to describe it, party scene. So if that's your vibe, then you can just stay in Atlanta and Miami. Start figuring that out, right? Start looking at hotel prices, start looking at airline prices, and start to figure out, how much money do I need to save? How many points and miles do I need to collect? So in that way, in a year's time, right, around, póngale por ahí, August, that's when you can start booking your travel for 2026. And the earlier you do it, the better. You're going to get the better prices and straight up just availability. Remember, there's going to be 48 teams involved. That means millions more fans are going to be competing against you for tickets, for those hotel beds, for those airline seats, for those train seats, for those car rentals. So the earlier you book your stuff, the better. Bueno, mi gente, I think that's more than enough information for one day, okay? You have me as a resource. For the next 2 years, I'm going to publish a video a week helping you with money advice, travel advice for this World Cup. It's going to be the largest one. 48 teams, 16 cities, 3 countries, okay? It's going to be expensive. Let's just be honest about it. It's going to be expensive. So we need to start preparing today, okay? Get your ducks in a row. Start figuring out your budgets, start figuring out your streams of income, and let's get going with a financial plan that's going to let you enjoy this World Cup without going into debt, without, kicking your abuela outside of her house. None of that, okay? We're going to be financial winners in this journey, okay? Mira, I know the emotions of being a soccer fan. When I went to the Qatar World Cup, that was my first ever World Cup. I cried my eyes out, even though I was just watching Brazil, South Korea. They're not even my team, soy colombiano. Pero fue la emoción, the emotion, this inner child that was like, I finally got to go to a World Cup. And look, I'm even tearing up right now. I want to help you either continue to relive that euphoria that we enjoy every 4 years, or if this is going to be your first time, I want to help you get there. Okay, so follow me. I hope this information has been helpful to you. Thank you so much for your support. We're just getting started. 2 years. In 2 years, mi gente. I know vemos al mundial. I know vemos.